So, if you don't know me, I'm Emily, and I am here today to talk about our homeschool choices for 2020. On this first video, I will be talking about the choices that I made for my son, who will be a first grader. A couple of important things that I want to say before we start. So, this is our second year homeschooling. I also have a lot of friends and family that homeschool, and my brothers who are younger than me were homeschooled all the way through high school. So I've known a lot about high school, homeschooling for quite some time. Couple things about our curriculum is I don't use an all-in-one box curriculum. Before we started, I spent months, trying to find that one right, easy, all-in-one box curriculum, and I just could not find it. I couldn't find one that I liked everything from. So ours is a little bit of several different curriculums. And that's one of the really awesome things about homeschooling is that you can do that. You can pick the curriculum that you think is best for your child for each subject. When you're looking at math or you're looking at science, you can pick what you think your child will do the best in. Also too important to say, because I know there are many new homeschoolers this year with COVID, is that we were homeschooling before COVID, and that's not why we're continuing, and we plan to continue, hopefully past COVID. And it's only important if you really, if you plan on sending your kid back to school next year, you really want to pay attention to state standards and things like Common Core. Those things are really important, and those are things I don't worry about so much. I'm of course always looking at state standards. I do test the kids usually around Christmas once a year to kind of see where they are in different subjects. But if you plan on just homeschooling for this year and going back, you're going to really want to pay attention to that more than what I need to. Most of the curriculum that we're using this year is the same as last year. I am making a few changes, and I will explain those as we go through. So let's get started. I'm going to turn the video so we're not looking at me the entire time onto the curriculum. So this is Chase's curriculum for first grade. Okay, so starting with language arts, we will be continuing using The Good and the Beautiful. The Good and the Beautiful Language Arts is about a grade, so I say about a half a grade level ahead. Just to really quick show you, so he's a first grader. We started kindergarten with the level K primer because there's just no way. We were not reading words when we finished preschool, and they expect when you finish this book that you're reading words and you can read sentences like this. So some people use this whole book for kindergarten. We finished it in about October, November, and started at level K. And we are about 40 lessons into this, so we will pick this up. This is about where he finished last year, and so you can see by the end of kindergarten, he's reading passages like this. So this book, this curriculum in language arts in particular is advanced. So it's open and go. Each lesson, tells you what to do. It's very easy to kind of follow. There's no prep work. In the beginning of this book, there are sight word lists. Get to them here. That we do. I do think these are important. We do like those. And then there's unit overviews. In the end of the book, there is your reading assessments that you'll do throughout the year, practice charts, and then spelling words. I do not use this way of spelling. We use a different curriculum for spelling. This book comes with this level K reader. This comes together that has reader books in it. This is a really nice book and we like it, but it's not enough for reading. So we also use these box sets from The Good and the Beautiful. Last year we did box A, and then this year we're going to start with box B. I think there's 10 books in here. This is basically what they look like. They're these small books, but they're really good, and they're just beautiful, like everything from this curriculum. So you can see that they will have the sight words that you're going to do, and then just kind of looking through it, you can just see very beautiful, very nice little books. We really like these. I did go ahead and buy the box C and D. I'm not sure if we will get to these this year. We may. I went ahead and purchased these as well. And then the other thing we do for reader books is Bob Books. This is from Costco, but you can buy this on Amazon or really anywhere. We did collection 1 last year, so we'll start with collection 2, and then I have 3 as well. So this is my other choice for readers. To go along with language arts, we will be doing handwriting this year from The Good and the Beautiful. This is a change. We have been doing handwriting without tears the last 2 years. It's a great curriculum. I just felt like we had done all of the printing books and he needed a little extra practice before moving on. And so instead of doing the same book again, from there, we are going to do this book from The Good and the Beautiful. So it starts with just kind of some review, but then you kind of get into sentences. And then we have like extra practice paper as well. So I will be able to review this later, but this is a change this year. We are trying their handwriting. Moving on to math, we will be using the Math 1 from The Good and the Beautiful. We did the math kindergarten last year, absolutely loved it. He finished the kindergarten curriculum about February, so we actually moved into this last year. I think we're about 30 to 40 lessons into this. So every lesson, it just is an open and go, no prep. Starts with a daily dose, and then you have your daily lesson. This is a very hands-on curriculum. There are lots of games that you play with it. I have a whole box I'm going to show you. And you can see here different games, different skills. So some people, they feel like this daily dose takes them too long. The nice thing is you can do what you want with it. I mean, I'm not going to make him count constantly to 100 because he can count to 1,000. You know, we get through this actually very quick. They have like a daily planner. Honestly, we don't really do that part all the time. The games, we really do it depending on what we were interested in and kind of what I feel like he needs to learn. So like, for example, when we were doing like greater than less than, this was a new thing for him, a little bit harder. We did all of the games, but sometimes if it's a chapter where he's like, this is really easy, we might do one of the games. It's just really nice having all those options. He's a very hands-on kid, and so this has been a great curriculum for him. This does not go up all the way through grade school. I believe they just released Math 3. My daughter, who will be in 4th, does not use this curriculum because they do not have her level. So this is the book, Math 1, in this, we've already lost the second part because we're rough with our books, and this is Math Part 2. I anticipate we'll probably move on to grade 2 math before the year is over. This is the math box. I love these. These are those storage boxes. If you've never seen them from Michael's, I have tons of them for everything through my house. It works perfect for math. So up here, and again, we were using this curriculum last year, so it's not like perfectly organized. You can put all your cards, your manipulatives. I put everything up here, and then this comes out. I usually have our books actually inside of here as well. And then you can put all the different like game pieces in here. This is all for the math. Put this on there, the books go in there, and then when it's time for math, we just pull this out. So this is really nice as far as if you're doing any type of math curriculum with a math kit. Okay, so moving on to science. Science is heavy for us because we love science. So if you think that we're doing a lot of science, we are. I don't think you need to do this much. We just really like science. So we were doing Sonlight science for my daughter, but I was a little bit overwhelmed with doing 2 complete science courses. So this year we made a change, and we are going to try doing these unit studies from The Good and the Beautiful. These say K through 8. So I'm going to be honest, as a science person, I feel like this is maybe more of a K through 6. There is some like high school extensions on here you can do, but I don't feel like this is difficult enough at all for high school. So this is an open and go curriculum. Each lesson will tell you supplies that you need, and then so you can see here with each lesson, objective, it'll tell you what you need. I read through this book. It's very nice, very beautiful pictures. There's some activities, there's some experiments as well. And so I think we're really going to enjoy this. So far this year, I have the arthropods, kingdoms and classifications, and mammals. I do kind of go through this as like my notebook and make a plan. I like colored pens. We're going to do some experiments with this. So I do quickly like to make an outline of what we're going to do. Also from The Good and the Beautiful are these nature notebooks. These are really inexpensive to print as a PDF. We purchased them. They were actually free for a little bit online, but basically they goes through each season, and they're good for like nature walks and nature journaling. My kids have a hard time, which is like a blank nature journal. So I'm kind of hoping this will like lead them with things to do. So they each have their own nature journal. So the last thing for science, I couldn't completely give up Sonlight Science because it's just, their book choices are wonderful. So I picked a couple books for each kid to do kind of on their own. For Chase, I picked the Usborne Children's Encyclopedia. Usborne books, as you know, are wonderful, and this is a really good just kind of intro to science. So any of their science books that have QR or internet links are my favorite. So this book, you're just going to open it up. You can read about a subject. It's 2 pages, and then there's going to be an internet QR link to go to. So you can see here, read about it. And these QR links go to their site, and there usually is between 4 to 6 videos that you can watch. They're usually 1 to 4 minutes or so, and they're amazing. They're from National Geographics or YouTube or different zoos. And my kids love them. I enjoy watching them as well. So it's something we can read this together, and then they can go and sit and watch the videos on their own, and then they like to come show me what they're watching and things. So this is just for him. Really nice little book to kind of an introduction to kind of all things science. So finally, the last part, not the least, is history. I decided to combine my 1st grader and my 4th grader to history this year. We are using Nodgrass's Our Star-Spangled Story. This is a new curriculum for us this year. My daughter did Sonlight, and so did he history. But again, I was really overwhelmed using 2 Sonlight cores. However, I am still staying with many of the Sonlight read-alouds and readers. I will have a separate video for our read-aloud choices for the year, and we'll talk about those at that point. So this all came together. So you have your books, you have a student workbook, and I have 2 of those. This is like songs and rhymes, and there's a CD in there, and then this is a timeline book. So just kind of quickly, this is definitely an open to go curriculum. So you're going to open it up to a lesson, for example, Unit 2. And this is a lesson. So you read this together, and then you can see here that there's different activities. You don't have to do them all. These are just suggestions, things defined on the map, workbook page, etc. Review questions to discuss after reading, and then there's some really neat hands-on history ideas. So that's why I think my kids are going to love this. For example, making an origami Mayflower. There is one in here about making homemade pottery. I think they'll really enjoy the hands-on aspect of this. The student workbook, you can see here, each one has 1 page, and for different ages that you could draw or you could write a paragraph. This curriculum is recommended for ages or grades 1 through 4, so it kind of works perfect with my age of kids. This is just a timeline book. This curriculum, all this together was about $100, so I feel like that it's really reasonably priced. Everything from the Good and the Beautiful is also really reasonably priced. So there's this, and then there's this book that has all of the songs. CD in the back. I do wish there was an MP3 link because CDs are kind of getting obsolete. I don't think at this point there is. And this is the second book. So like I said, this is a new curriculum for us, and I will have to review it at a later time. For spelling, for 1st grade, we will be using the All About Spelling curriculum. I am a fan of this curriculum. My daughter has been using it. They do recommend that no matter what age you're starting this curriculum, that you start with level 1. Each level has different steps, about 20 to 25 steps. Let's see here. You can see step 1, and just open and go, kind of tells you what to do. So my daughter, she started last year in 3rd grade with step 1 because she really struggled with spelling. She finished this book in 2 months. So versus my son, we may do this book the entire time, in 1st grade. So that's why they recommend to always start with this level. These are what we do with the letter tiles. We put them on a dry erase board because they're little magnets, and that's the way we use those. Here's a lot of the extra ones. And then you have these cards for each lesson, and you'll put in here review, mastered, and future, and they're just these cards. And there's also some other phonogram cards, but I tear them all out and I put them in these little containers, and it works really well. So I like the spelling curriculum because it teaches you spelling rules and reason. I will tell you, my daughter, she'll misspell a word now, and I'll tell her, what is the spelling rule? And she'll correct herself. So that's the way I wanted my kids to learn to spell, not by memorizing how to spell words. So if you want to know spelling rules and really have a good lifelong speller, I think this is a great curriculum.